Hello.
Hello. Hey Alex, how are you?
Oh, uh, living the life, huh? Beautiful life. And how you been?
Man, you been to Builder Fest. I missed it, and I heard from your Ram it was great. So I assume you are in great position.
Huh?
I assume you are in great position that your Ram said like a Builder Fest was everything. Like so, all the key people were there. That's what my understanding is.
And yet I feel quite uh, anxious, actually.
Now times are tough, I guess. Should we remove the read me this thing?
If we should, probably because text does it all the time. And the meeting is transcribed by the...
Yeah. It's okay. Hi. So I do have to go in about 20 minutes or so. I have asked Aditya to join this call and maybe some more developers. So maybe they will join. I think our conversation, if we can do tomorrow morning, will be good. Is it good tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock India time or that time you used to interact with these guys? So let's catch up, you and me.
Okay. Yeah.
And we discuss. Sorry, in last like 2-3 weeks, I was like terribly occupied in many things. And
that's, I think, what was our agreement. I'm with autonomously trying to move the project forward. That's what we try to do. Meeting.
Yeah, no, we definitely. So let's talk on specifics tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, this is different call altogether, though. So just,
yeah, that's my point.
Yeah. Hi, Aditya.
Hello. Hi.
Is anyone else joining?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Ravindra. Man, this Gemini or these note takers are very notorious.
Survey.
These note takers or Gemini is very notorious. They're just writing down all aspect of our conversation.
The reviewer, I mean.
Yeah.
The developer experience with Catalyst Review could definitely be better. It feels somewhat it lacks a human component, so far as I understand. I haven't been able to involve with the review process directly, but via email and text, there's a certain kind of, I don't know why it's personal meetings are preferred for this kind of activity. But I think what they mean, the Catalyst, always complain that they don't have enough reviewers and stuff like this. But that's a issue with the developer experience on Cardano. One of the issues, right?
Yeah. Okay. We got, I think, a couple of other members joining. That's good. I mean, I guess this is the first meeting after the Builder Fest, Alex.
Oh yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So should we kind of cover the Builder Fest with your experience, maybe a little bit kind of what kind of opportunities being seen for the developers? Because the Builder Fest is very much about development, and for the development we need developers. So
Yeah.
any parallel or any input you can draw from there will be, I think, useful for the team to understand and maybe benefited.
Yeah, so Builder Fest is a networking event, and so there I met about more people than I can actually remember, right? So just coming there and finding opportunities to talk to different people. Primarily, Builder Fest was popular with Cardano Foundation, and quite a few folks from Cardano Foundation were there. And so, yeah, in terms of developer experience working group and Intersect and opportunities for, so far as I understand, there is a certain tendency and tension towards increasing the number of developers who maintain Bluetooth Core and what's called Core Cardano. And so the open source office and developer experience working group, in their point of view, is the mechanism and the institution to put this mechanisms in place so that people can onboard and join developing on Cardano core, maintaining the core of Cardano. So it's been my goal since it's not been my goal since like the beginning when I joined. But at some point, I realized that this is a very interesting opportunity for person in open source space to be recognized as an expert in a certain technology. And then the expertise in the technology, well, how do you get the expertise in the technology, right? In a world where there's things they change every week. And there aren't courses, for example. You can have courses on things that are widely accessible to many people, and then have a way to make your sustenance using programming as a computer programmer, having sustainable life and having living using these technologies. And when I joined Cardano, and still since then, my point and the thing that I learned from open source, being in open source ecosystems, is that finding a niche and a way to support oneself with the skills and the technologies that are available is a good way to develop and keep learning, because learning is just inevitable and everyday part of life. And the question of how do I learn the new technologies in open source, to myself, I answered in a way that through contributing. And so this has been my goal, and through participation in developer advocate program, I submitted pull requests to Bluetooth, Cardano Node, and now going to Builder Fest was pretty cool. I never thought that I would be able to have a contribution to Amaro, which is an actively developed project currently in the Node in Rust. So our visionaries and ideologues support multi-language Node, and the community listens to people who are known who charities and to people to submit proposals to support software like this. And it's an interesting and new kind of thing that is developing. And so it's popular. And so it's a sort of a challenge, because when you have a project that is actively developing, people, they kind of get into a cohesive team, and joining the effort is not always straightforward. So it's sort of a challenge, and so one of the nicest outcomes was that I was able to contribute to Amaro, and wow, I'm pretty proud now. And I was like, but that's for like it isn't something that it's easy to appreciate, as I understand. Yeah, so through contributing to Developer Experience Working Group, I was able to gain opportunities to contribute to other software projects and learn about the technology. I give the contribution to Amaro is just the most kind of interesting example, but other smaller examples let me interact with the people who have the deeper understanding in technology that I am, and build my network, and to be able, in case of there are questions about how things are better done, to be able to answer these questions directly, or to be able to pull people from my network who I worked with before to consult on the issues that I encounter. And so that's, I think, how we become experts in this modern world, where we just keeping working on the technology to learn it and to be able to answer questions for teams who build using this technology, or to build in own capacity. So it's been. I'm really surprised at Wim's work. I unfortunately told him like, "Oh, Wims, this is not a good idea because everybody's going to be using more accessible technologies now. So we don't want to really invest time into supporting the old Haskell Plutus ecosystem." And that's the answer that's been given multiple times now. But today in the morning, we just published this repo. I built it, and it's like, oh, wow, nice. It's you can look at the older lectures, which I sometimes really like to recommend, because they give some interesting concepts that allow developers to understand how Cardano works. And we're very kind of, I was reading like, oh, yeah, this is something very interesting and not, obvious about how this works. And so Wim's created this amazing project, and I think we can, maybe he can join and show, I can show it a little bit if there are no objections.
Sure, go ahead.
So if I can just share my screen. Window, Bluetooth links. So we get the developer environment very easily. It takes a little bit time to build. So if you can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So Nix develop is the Nix part of the thing. It's like this this file, which is like only 35 lines long, but I mean, I tried to build one and I gave up. And still, you will see why, because I will get error messages in my IDE. But Wim's built it for VS Code, which everyone uses, so it's not a problem, actually. So we have this Nix environment and the list of files in the upper part of the screen. And so we can actually look at tutorials. I didn't look at the file because I just saw. Okay, so what Wims is saying here, he has, we can. So what in essence, what he has is tests. So we can run Cabal test. It doesn't work because we need to enter the code repository actually. So we can run tests, and here's the results of the test. And actually, I think here, if we change this line to, here's the error message that annoys me so much. all the time. And the test will take some time to compile. Okay, so all the tests pass. So I understood what Wim did, hopefully, right? So what he has there is a vesting valid. Are there any questions actually at the point?
Any question from the team?
Not really. I just a little question I have is how is it checking like outside the deadline it's failing that part?
Oh, we have to find out because I haven't had the energy today to look into it this deeply. But vesting is a smart contract which has 2 parameters in the datum. Let me try to find the code for you. Maybe I better do it in the.
Yeah. So Alex, while you're finding, and just giving a heads up to the team, and I'm suggesting this for today, as different developers or quite few developers. Thank you everyone for joining today. I think it's a good number, or 15. And I believe that most of the developers in different stages, from maybe a couple of months in learning to possibly have a good experience of about a year or so. So you are in different kind of the experience level. I would suggest that if some of you want to share any recent experience on while you're writing smart contracts or working with Cardano with respect to, so any experience. So this can probably be a good experience sharing, and we can probably have some action item or some trigger of some good stuff. So that will be my suggestion. But let's complete the Alex point, and you can prepare your question meanwhile. Yes, Alex, back to you.
Oh, thank you. So I just shared link to documentation piece, which explains how this whole contract works. If you're like reading along. So essentially, vesting validator is one of the examples. I think you can find it in the Bluetooth use cases repository, just using GitHub search. And it's been implemented in different, also you can find it in mesh examples, mesh.js. If you want to have nice developer experience, actually just working with the mesh.js team, yeah, it's pretty amazing compared to so if looking like being on Cardano, if you want to build an application quickly and without pain, then using mesh.js and Amaru or like Icon, wow, amazing. But if you'd like to learn programming and study different concepts and practice different things and be a better programmer, then Haskell is kind of, and that's why what makes this project so amazing, because it lets us experiment using Haskell and Nix, which are actually very nice as they're, piece of technology which is being used, and I believe it has a big future just overall. So back to vesting contract. Yep. Please go ahead with the question.
Go ahead, Ran.
Hello, I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you one question related to Nix. You set up Nix like for the smart contract project, you have set up Nix for the development. So how did you do that? And if I want to do that similar step, what are the procedure I need to follow?
Well, I don't. Is the question because I'm using NixOS, and so one of the major issues with Nix that people are having is getting Nix work with their developer environment, with their machine, especially if you're using Mac. But I'm using NixOS, so for me, it's just if you want to start using this repository or like Bluetooth repository, each of them has Nix scaffolding provided. So the only thing you need to do is enter the repository and enter Nix develop. And that's the beauty of Nix. But if you want to write Nix scaffolding and Nix modules, that's a kind of different idea. And I mean, do I understand how to learn Nix? All my learning with Nix happens spontaneously. Sometimes I have someone of my network who works on a project, and they want like, oh, I want to deploy something using Nix. And then sometimes it's super easy to do. Like, I want to develop a JavaScript project. Well, fair enough. It's like I click with fingers most of the time, and it works. But actually finding interesting opportunities to build scaffolding, which requires you to problem solve, isn't something very straightforward, and I can give you just directly like actionable steps towards. Is you know, one thing I would say to learn Nix is to install NixOS, and then to read the paper, which explains what's the point of using Nix and NixOS together, because it's a kind of, I don't understand this paper because it talks about some deep mathematical ideas called strongly dependent types, if I recall correctly, and that's kind of neat mathematical description of why Nix just works most of like all of the time, if it's been properly, made. It doesn't break. Again, it's like I only know this much as a daily user of NixOS, and the beauty and magic of Nix is that it never breaks. And so finding actually opportunities to experiment and dig deeper into the code that you're able to write, or like what is actually the point of doing so, isn't very easy. So I don't know if it passes as an answer. And I posted the response to the previous question, the code for the vesting contract, in chat. And so you can see there it's datum.json, the last two, or last line 63, and it shows that there's two items in the datum. One stores public key hash, another stores just numbers, like it's a stream of numbers. It's a timer or something like this. And then when the validator is called to this endpoint, inside the validator, there's logic which says take, for example, current time from the screen context, because that's like transaction we're sending it, only its best source of current time, the only source. And the send and the PKH can be obtained from who signed the transaction. And so it allows one wallet to withdraw money from the validator after a certain deadline, and only one wallet. So it's like leaving money on the table, gluing them to the table, and only allowing like magic glue touch of one person to pick up the money from the table. And so that's how it works.
Good point. Good point. Thanks. And I think look like this repository is particularly prepared by Bernard. Look like, and that's good. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. It was very nice to look at.
Yeah, you put a lot of stuff there. So good. Thanks, Ran, for your question. Maybe you can figure out this part in this particular article. Good. I made suggestions. So anyone ready to share some of the experience while working with Cardano, or any smart contract experience want to share? Including challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I can share one challenge. Like there is one thing like executable library and a test that are written differently in the cabal dot cabal file actually. So I was having problem related to writing the test file. So I was not able to understand like what is the difference between library and executable and the test, that are the three different section that is defined in the .cabal file. But I figure it out like for the executable is there to execute the that means it is there to compile the smart contract and generate CVR for that. That is executable. Library is where all the dependencies are listed for your smart contract, and tests are where you return the test cases and you will define like these are the test folders, and where is the entry point and how to run those as well. So, and it also contains build dependencies as well. So this was one challenge I was facing while writing the smart contracts. Another challenges is there to how to add any packages, like external packages in your template. Like if you are using any template or any project, so how can you add other repository? I used tasty.hunit. It is used to write the test cases for the smart contracts. So how to add it and how to execute it and use it in your smart contract. So it was a quite challenging task.
Yeah, it's a very interesting task, exactly, and you like testing in itself is quite fun. What you mentioned, the testy thing. So when I encountered the issues that you described and difficulty integrating tests into my like what I was doing, I took a break and instead I went to solve like just abstract challenge from it was Advent of Code for me, and it's amazing kind of thing. Advent of Code gives you challenges in just plain language, and the opportunity to solve these challenges in any language that you'd like. And some people go for the result. I said, oh, I'm going to try Haskell. And it actually taught me some very interesting things about exactly. I encountered this issue that documentation on testing, when you built in testing to your project, it stops building. And then some figuring out, and I don't remember what's going on there, but there's some typo or something is wrong in documentation probably for the test. And so I built this quite a few times, and every time I was encountering this issue and just now remember it. But yeah, well, just simplify your program and simplify the problem. You try to solve simpler problem using the same approach, and then you will see like with less moving parts, it's kind of more clear where the problem is, you know.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ryan, for sharing your experience, and thanks, Alex, for your comment. Rajesh, you were started to say something.
Yes. Hi, Alex. So I was having a issue regarding to make the data flow from one smart contract UTXOs to the other smart contract. So eventually I overcome this and I learned this. So today I achieved this. So this was the barrier which was for me basically a new experience.
Amazing. I haven't been able to have an idea about how like to meet some business logic with two smart contracts developing, interacting with each other.
Yes, yes. Actually, what happens? So we were working on a smart contract, and the datum which we defined, it contains almost 13 to 14 fields. But I think since the datum was having maybe some as much field, so because of that, when we were running the smart contract in our VS Code, so that is got getting hang up. Maybe like because a smart contract must have at least 14 KB of data only, at most 14 KB of data only. Because of that, or maybe it would be the multiple chaining of the functions. Because in Haskell, if the data type is of algebraic data type, then each field act as a function. So there might be chaining of the functions. So what we did, we break our logic and we created two smart contracts. And of course, from passing the data from one smart contract, basically UTXOs to other, we were also doing the serialization and deserialization concept, because Haskell has different data types and Plutus has different. So this serialization and deserialization concept, uh, I was helped by Ryan. So this was the new experience I got, which I told you just now. Thank you.
Thank you for telling me about your experience. Yeah, so I understand. So from what I picked up, you encountered limitations with the size of the transaction and the size of the smart contract. And so to work around these limitations, you split your application logic into several smart contracts. And so you're doing extra transactions because the logic of the application is complex, and you make the necessary checks using several smart contracts and the chain of transactions.
I want to ask Alex, do you have do you face this situation, like if you uh, if you make many fields in your data types, so have you faced this issue, like a smart contract is not running during the building time, it is getting stuck?
Well,
One more thing, is this the issue regarding smart contract memory, or like the uh, our system functionality, like our system doesn't have maybe much RAM?
oh, I beg your pardon. I just two questions in one go. I cannot recall in the memory. So the first question is, have I run into issues being big data and being unable to handle the transactions? Because and you are asking, is this happening because of the technical limitations of the software or your machine, right?
Yes.
Interesting. I don't know how errors are handled in block frost or wherever. I suppose if your smart contract does not fit the specification at the moment of submission, you will get an error message. But I may be mistaken, to be honest. Yeah.
And Alex, last time I asked you regarding your hands-on on the new new template, which is of plinth. So you said you as of now you don't have any hands-on on the new template. So did you get any hands-on on that?
Which template? I don't remember. To be honest.
Plinth new smart contract template regarding minting policy, minting, yeah, regarding minting scenarios.
Plinth template. I see the repo, but I failed to remember any conversation about it, unfortunately. So template repository for Plinth smart contract, GHC, what it does. So we can set up your environment. An example, auction smart contract. I did not. I did not. I should have, but I did not.
Okay, fine. Actually, I tried, so I tried to do some things with this new template, but got stuck. So, if possible, we will later on connect and see.
Yeah, I can give you my booking link, and you can book a time with me, and let's look into it together. I have to run it first, right? And here I can see run the example application. Cabal update first, and then read. But when I try to open the link, the site is down.
Okay.
So let's see what's going on. I don't know. I'll see.
Okay, fine, Alex. That was for me from my side.
All right.
I have one question regarding the code that you have shared for the vesting smart contract. In
Okay.
this, I just wanted to ask you that are you doing something like you are passing some in datum, some field like for this amount of time, this much amount of assets will be logged in the smart contract. Before that, no one can redeem that, but after that certain time of unit of time, anyone can redeem the transaction. But there is two condition I see, like there is transaction signatories you are also using. That means someone needs to sign that transactions. And another thing is the time period. So how are you taking the time period? Are you taking the time period in redeemer, or is it calculating the time period using something?
All right. So I can show this actually, because I saw this repository that I showed you just today in the morning, first time in my life, and Wims created it without my help. So I don't know it so well. The vesting contract is quite familiar to me because I worked on it, but I used other technology. One of the funny things about Cardano is that all these things are translatable. So here is the same idea, just in without any Nix and Haskell, just using Node Package Manager. And the same, you see, tests are passing. I just had more time to write tests because this was in JavaScript, and I was experimenting with the different concepts and what I can test around. And so it is a like architecture diagram. What happens when you run Cabal test or like npm test in the middle, right? And so there's like all the files which connect to it. And so here, if we look at the testing, at the vesting code, it's a little bit different, right? So here I have the validator written in Helios TypeScript. So the redeemer has two clauses, right? Cancel and claim. And this makes a big difference. So far as I understand, in this contract, I don't see the validator itself. I have to look for it. Oh yeah, here it is. So signed by beneficiary. So you see there's just one clause with two conditions, right? But here there's two clauses. Each has two conditions, right? And so here, for example, also the person who created this contract, their data is stored, right? Creator, pubkey hash as well. And so they can withdraw before the deadline. But that's ultimately a design choice, and so that you could do any way you'd like, in any environment you'd like. If you'd like to use Aiken and write this Aiken, it's possible. Helios as well, and there's like BlueTS, PyCardano or something like this. And all these things support. There's a thing to understand that this code that is .hl in the screen is separate from, and it's not obvious from all the different documentation. It can be integrated into your transaction building. Quite often I see that as well. To understand that there's different things that execute, and actually transactions here, you have the lock-in transaction. As you can see, there's another redeemer inside this lock-in transaction. Just we were having fun with this repo, and so I think I removed the logic after, but I left the same. Just don't know why, because I was too lazy to remove it. And so there's also, once the contract is initiated, it doesn't only get ADA, but also it gets some other random token, right? So this is a little bit more complicated than what Wims is having in his application, where it just has one clause where only the beneficiary can withdraw. But yeah, again, this is you can solve it anyway, depending on the needs of your business side.
Yeah, I got it got clear. I understand. Like in datum, you are storing public key hash, and at the time of redeeming or claiming, you are checking that this public key hash matches the transaction signatory's public key hash. And the second thing is you are checking is that the time bound that was set is passed or not uh,
Yeah.
through redeemer. Through redeemer.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had a question as well. So
Mhm.
it was regarding mainly Plutus V3. So I saw in a lot of places that it exists in mainnet as well, but like there was few functionalities that I only found resources for preview, like the interoperability between Ethereum and Cardano, wrapping the functions and uh, Ethereum based transactions. You could wrap it and send it to Ethereum. So those kind of functionalities are only in preview, I think, for now. But I haven't found any clarity on whether are they actually working on mainnet now or it's only for preview.
Interesting question. So I guess I'm not ready to answer it directly. I suppose Bluetooth V3 is one of the Cardano improvement proposals. Am I mistaken? Oh yeah. Well, it's wow. Where actually does it come from? Curious. Yeah, I don't know. Heard many times about Bluetooth V3, and there was a blog post, but at the time when it was released, I was interested in something else. And that's the one funny thing here in Cardano. New technologies come and go, and this functionality, it's nice to have someone who knows all the new technologies that come out and the old ones. And that's a piece of the thing that probably would make good team from an average team, so that different team members, they have communication and understanding of which of the sub technologies on Cardano they are interested in working with, and then when they work together, they can come up with a new and innovative ideas which solve problems in like non-trivial way, so that you can have value added and startups that sell stuff. So yeah, I don't know about Bluetooth V3.
Actually, I have seen like Plutus version 3. There is two things they have added, like governance and proposals. So, like I have a use case of that as well, like governance and proposals. In Plutus version 2, there is no the validator has a purpose. So, we are currently using spending. There is minting purpose, spending purpose. Then there is proposal. Then is governance. So these are all validator purposes. So yeah, so in Plutus version 3, if I can show you as well, like if we go to the Cardano Haskell packages, no, it was in Intersect MBO. Yeah, in Plutus apps, we can see in Plutus version 3 ledger.api, there is a context. In the context, we can see what changes they have added. If I can
Oh, I was on mute. Sorry. I found the Cardano Haskell packages, but I lost the point. Why was you mentioning it with the Bluetooth V3?
Sorry, I was on mute. I just wanted to show you, like, if we go to, let me just share my screen. I will
Yeah,
show you.
exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. So if we see, like, we can see, like, in Plutus version 3, these are all the purposes of, this is the purpose for datum, I think. Spend, mint, withdraw, and there is also a purpose for Plutus version ledger API. If I was able to find, like, it has a Plutus ledger API. Yeah, sorry. There is a source, and then there is context, I think, Plutus ledger API. Yeah, in version 3, if I go context.hs, if I show it to you, sorry. Let me just search for the purpose. So it has two more purposes. Yeah,
Okay.
script purpose. Let me just search it. Yeah, you see, minting currency symbols, data script purpose.
Hmm.
So in Plutus version 1 and version 2, it has a it doesn't have a governance, and yeah, you see minting, spending, rewarding, certifying, voting, and proposing. So these are all the purposes that are there in version 3. But if I go to version 2 and version 1, these two things are not there, like voting and proposing. Only minting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Oh,
this is new things, but currently our templates is compatible with, I think, Plutus version 2. So we have to look like how can we make our Plutus template so it is also it is also working fine with Plutus version 3. So
oh, that's
this,
quite actually interesting
yeah,
question. Yeah, because one of the things early on Cardano, when Plutus V3 actually was just coming out,
yeah.
I looked at the Plutus apps repo and tried to update it to support Plutus V3, but then turned out that it's got deprecated and they didn't want to use it anymore. And so now Wims actually built this repo and adding Plutus V3. So you're missing documentation on how to add Plutus V3 to your project.
Yeah, we are looking how to add Plutus version 3 in our project so that we will able to, like, I have a project in which I have to do this governance DAO things. So I was looking how can I do this, but I haven't found the right path. But I'm currently looking how can we achieve that as well. And my
So
team is also looking.
Plutus V3 would be a release node, right, in the Plutus repository, probably.
Yeah.
Right. So if we just can I share screen?
Yeah. Let me just.
So here's where we have releases and V3. It's not a backed version of Mint value for Plutus V3. How do we search here? Okay. Plutus V3. Well, I suppose can find something here and wow, actually good point. I don't know where to find docs on integration V3 to projects. I will get an action item to find it and just load it. Okay, so find how to integrate V3 functionality into Haskell Bluetooth project. Okay. Does anyone have questions? So if there's no questions and I see people dropping off, so maybe just see you next time, huh?
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you, Alex.
attending and
Bye.
for your questions.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.